Hello, everyone. This is Steve Benmor. I'm a family law specialist in Toronto, and I'm the principal lawyer at Benmor Family Law Group. And as part of this COVID-19 series of interviews, I'm now speaking with Paul Mandel. Paul Mandel is a chartered professional accountant and chartered business valuator. He's been in this business doing valuations in various forms for over 25 years. And in the last 10 years, he's been with RSM Canada. On a personal and professional level, as part of my divorce practice, I have represented clients who are self-employed, owners of businesses, owners of manufacturing plants or retail outlets. And I have referred my clients to Paul to assist us in calculating the value of their business and or to determine their income, all for the purposes of their divorce settlements, because in many of our cases, we are unable to resolve our divorce unless and until we've actually calculated the value of their business and we've determined what their actual income is from all sources, whether they are the owner of the business or the director of the business and so forth. So I'm really happy to have Paul with us today. Hey, Paul, how are you?
Hi, Stephen. Thanks for having me on today.
Great.
I'm doing great.
How are you and your company doing through this pandemic?
We're doing well, and we're continuing to work, and everyone's safe and healthy in my family, and along with all of my colleagues, actually. Everyone's safe and healthy.
And you guys are still operational?
We are. Because of the way our firm's technology, we were able to move our 12,000 employees across North America, mostly accountants and other professional service advisors, into the digital world. So we use WebEx and Zoom and other forms of video conference to have meetings. We're able to access all of our files. We're able to send out and draft PDF documents to send off to our clients and other users of our information.
That's excellent. And I know that you've been accessible to me for my clients, and I thank you for that. And I'm glad that you are, in fact, healthy and operational. So I'm going to go right into the question. In the last few weeks, I've had many phone calls from clients, some of whom I've referred to you in the past, in order to determine what do they do with reports that you issued in the last few months or few years, determining what the value of their business was when they split up and determining what their income has been for the purposes of support. And the calls have come in and said to me, what do we do now? Because my income has significantly reduced and or the value of my business has significantly changed in light of COVID-19. So can you help us understand what their options are?
Very good question, Stephen. So firstly, let's deal with income. We typically will prepare a report called a guidelines income report. This is to help the courts determine what someone's income has been. And it's really to answer two questions. What was your income? And we typically look at 3 years, is the way the rules say. So right now we're looking at 2017, 2018, and 2019. The courts and the lawyers and our clients then take that information and use it to determine how much support someone owed for any particular year and how much do they owe on an ongoing basis. Now, what's happening right now is because of COVID-19, for many of our clients, their income is substantially and materially different than what it was last year in 2019. So there's nothing we can do and nothing you can change about what your income was in 2019. It was what it was, and you'll have to pay support based on that level of income. But for 2020 onwards, it doesn't really make sense to have someone pay based on what their income was historically if it's going to be totally different right now. So this is your chance to assemble your records, document what's going on in your business, document the change in revenue and the impact on your earnings, get your records up to date, and you can get a new report, or you can measure what your income is for 2020, even on an interim basis, and say, this is what my new reality is, and this is what my ongoing support should be.
Now, what about cases where the value of their business might have changed due to COVID?
Okay, so with respect to valuation, here's two concepts I want to give about valuation. Number one is valuation is a point in time. And the courts ask in family law typically for us to value their businesses at their date of separation. So you would think if you value a business back in 2017 and you still haven't worked out your equalization, you're supposed to pay based on and make your payment based on what the value was back in 2017. But what about the individual or the business that no longer exists today or has undergone a fundamental change because of COVID-19, and the value substantially changed as no recourse or no fault of anything that the owner did or the operator? It just changed because of COVID-19 and the environment. There is some remedy under the courts that they can prepare a new valuation, determine the value today, and if it's substantially different and not at their fault, that equalization payment might be based on what it is worth today. That's a legal determination, right? Whether it is today or at the date of separation. But we as business valuators, again, can remeasure and determine what your fair market value of your business is. Now,
and just to clarify, what sort of records are needed from the client, from the business owner, to provide to you sometime in the next few months that would assist you in providing an updated report to reflect a change in value of the business or a change in the pattern of income?
Good question. Okay, so first thing is we're going to look at updated financial statements. So get your records in place. We can look at bank statements to see that your deposits really did decline. I would also keep track of what happened to your customers, right? You may be in a business and you had 5 or 6 solid customers and 3 of them went bankrupt. That's no fault of your own, but it just happened under COVID. Document all that. Now, the major concept of business valuation is that value is perspective. It doesn't really matter what you made in the past. We'll look at that in order that we can predict what you're going to make in the future, because that's what somebody wants. You're only as good as what you can do in the future, and if the future's change and it's different than the past, this is your chance to represent your case. So
like
I
a
say
perfect example would be like a restaurant that may have been very, very successful up until, say, 3 weeks ago. And in the period in the last 3 weeks, they've laid off their staff. They're not selling anything. Their doors are closed. They're paying their lease. But the value of that restaurant could be materially different in 6 months than it was 6 months ago.
Correct. This is not unusual. Like if you have no one coming in and you're not making any money, you just change the business, change your prospects or change. There is going to be no value to that restaurant until people start coming back in and eating there, because we don't care as business valuers that people ate there in the past. We only care about who's going to come there in the future to eat there and how they're going to earn revenue.
One final question. How does the subject of industry relate to your area of work? Or do you just look at the individual company?
And in every valuation, Stephen, we undertake an industry knowledge assessment. It's one of our professional standards and professional requirements. So you're going to get COVID-19 affecting certain industries significantly more than other industries. A couple of examples are like some industries, they're moving along right now. They're essential service. It's still happening. There might be some pent up demand. You know, you're still going to need to buy. Nobody's buying a car right now, but and nobody's buying gas right now. But once this is over, we're all going to go back to work and buy gas and buy cars. Whereas some things are fundamentally going to change. One thing that I've been reading up about and people have been discussing is even commercial real estate, that people are getting used to working at home and businesses might not need as much real estate. And those real estate owners, they may see a fundamental change in what's happening to the rent they're going to receive in the future. And the value of those properties is totally linked to the rent they're going to receive.
I could only imagine that the sort of work that you have done for the last 25 years in valuations and in income calculations will not only be slightly affected by what has happened, but there's going to be a cause for people to come back to you and ask for updated reports. I know I have in the last few weeks, and I could only assume that many other divorce lawyers will need your services in order to be able to assist our clients to reflect the new normal that has been brought to us by COVID. So Paul, thank you very much. It was a pleasure talking to you, and I'm glad RSM Canada and you, Paul Mandel, are still available and helpful to us. Be well, be healthy. Thank you.
Thanks, Stephen.
Bye-bye.